Oh, good morning. We're starting this new job here, and this is actually the second time I've logged here. This is literally my first logging job. It's I think 6.9 acres or 7 acres, and somebody was asking how I bid a job, and it's sort of dead reckoning. I mean, you could spend time and come out and measure up all the timber and find out how much board foot's out here, and blah blah blah, yada yada yada. But in reality, you don't know until you cut them down and send them to the mill. So it's weird. It's been like 9 years since I cut here. Oh, longer than that even. 10, 11 years. Anyhow, so you kind of look around and see what you got. You know, there's a little patch of hemlock here, and it kind of follows this ridge all the way around. And there's a whole bunch of cedar back in here. So, you know, anyways, you come out and you stomp around, you look at the whole ground and see, A, can I do it? B, is it going to be worth it? And I'm going to talk him out of that trailer carcass. I need a trailer for my fire wagon. And there's this patch of hemlock up here too. And anyhow, so the property line's over there somewhere, and to stay on track, you gotta come out and look at everything before you bid it. Don't ever bid without seeing the job. That's rule number one. You know, probably my next project's gonna be 30 acres. Well, it's 20 acres. It's on 2 parcels, so it's 30 total. But we're not even touching the upper parcel. So yeah, it's 30 acres combined, but there's only about 5 acres alder on it. So the guy calls, hey, I got 30 acres I want to log. All right, yeah, let's come out there and oh yeah. But alder's not worth anything right now because of the trade war. Let's not get into politics. Because nobody's buying alder right now. Anyhow, so come on, you stomp around, you look at the ground and see what it tells you. You know, it's got a slope to it. It ain't bad. This ain't yarder ground or anything. And I've been around. I stomped around here a bunch when I was here last time. You know, so you want to make sure that everything's accessible. You can get your machines in there, and that's step number one. Can your machines do it? You know, take a look at the trees, see what kind of condition they're in. If you got a piece of fungus or something going on right there. You know they had cows out here for a while, and that may have caused some issues with some of the timber. Actually, it did up there. It did. That's something to look into. And so I drove the skidder down here when I dropped it off yesterday, just to see what's going on. And there's a road that goes all the way around here. It's an old farm trail. What you're hearing is Highway 92 in the background, so that gives you an idea where we're at. We're not far from home. Far enough that I gotta drive here, but well, let's anyways stomp over here because I've never walked over here before. So then you gotta find out what the customer wants. You know, I can come in here and I can cut every goddamn thing down and leave them with a clean slate, so to speak. And there's some alder in here too. We didn't talk about the alder much. I mean, there's a bunch of alder here, but it ain't worth anything, so I probably won't cut it. Well, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I can take it to the mill and we can get paid out of it, but so find out what they want. They want to kind of thin this and not take much out of it, and make a little money. Ironically, this the guy that owns this is one of the owners of one of the machine shops I used to work at, and there's a long story there, but he gave me the opportunity to come out here and try my luck with a beat up old Ford 9N tractor, and we cut probably 2 loads of alder out of here over on the other side of the property. Like I said, 10 years ago, and that got me a taste for liking it. I think it all ended up being firewood, and I got a truck out of it. It's my first crummy, and so I paid for the tractor, which was $300. Anyhow, so you figure out what they want, you figure out what kind of timber they got, and you just stomp around and see what's going on, So it doesn't look like much till you get back here. There's, as I see, you gotta walk around. All the hemlock ain't worth a whole hell of a lot. Got some tents or some shit back here. I think somebody was living back here for a while. And some ugly maples that aren't worth a damn thing. So you get back here and you got a nice patch of cedar. Real nice patch of cedar. And it's worth pretty good money. Okay, cool. So once you figure out that coat on there, what kind of timber he's got on here, then you can start asking yourself, okay, what's it worth? I know the cedar's $950 or $1,000 a 1,000 board feet right now, which is not great, but it's pretty good. These are real nice straight cedars. I think the property line's actually a little bit farther back from the fence. And okay, cool. So I can make money on this. I'll make money on the hemlock too, but if we were just cutting the hemlock, I don't know if I'd give them as much as I gave them. The alder, probably not as much either, but the cedar makes up for it. And there's 3 or 4 loads of cedar in here at least. So that's pretty good. And there's probably 6 or 7 loads of hemlock if I want to, but we're not going to take everything, so we're just going to cut a couple few loads and see what we can make out of it. Anyhow, so up around this corner up here, this is where I started logging last time I was here. So I come down here with an old Ford 9N tractor, and it's not a huge slope, but you can't really tell. Camera doesn't show it very well. It's a berm right over here somewhere. And I got up in there and I cut a tree down, and I think it's all grown over now, but off in the sun you can see all the alder. Cut me a tree down, and, oh yeah, I'm doing good. And I drove the tractor down here, and old gas pot 9N. And I back it up against the stump over here because the brakes in those things are just for, just for looking at. They're not for using. And I head up kind of on a side hill, and if you know anything about the Ford 9Ns, the fuel line comes off of one side of the tank and out of the middle. They're not made to be side hilling, so it's usually not an issue. Well, I got her up on the side, and I didn't have full tank of gas because, well, I'm an idiot. And I run her out of gas. Now, this is the corner of the property. The property's lines back over there somewhere. We probably won't be messing around over there anyways. And it's uphill the entire 7 acres, and it's a long narrow piece all the way back to the crummy. So that was my first day of logging with my tractor that I paid a bottle of whiskey and $300 for, and a $30 basket case, 046 still. And I think somebody gave me a hard hat. I didn't have cork boots at the time, couldn't afford them. Come a long ways. Anyhow, so back to the whole point of this video. And I hate these kind of videos. The guy just talks and rambles the whole time. You gotta know what the timber's worth. You gotta know if you can do it. That's two things. I mean, you get out here and it's you know, cow face, steeper than snot, and you know, skidder will roll down it one way or either, no matter which way it's pointed, and the excavator will just laugh at you to even try to climb the hill. You just can't do it. You got to get a yarder. If you don't got a yarder, well, you shouldn't be out here messing with it. Now, this is easy. I can do this. This is no big deal. So then it comes down to cost. I know what I need to make to survive and make a little money, and that's X amount per board foot. You know, and you split it up. I split it up on percentages. Yeah, you got to kind of figure in how much it's going to cost to move your machines, and you know, you can't say, oh well, you know, it costs me this much to move machines every time, because it doesn't. It's different, but you can average it out and get a pretty good idea of what every move is going to cost. For me, it's about $400 per machine, depending on how far you're going to go. Now, I move my own machines, so that part of that, I get to keep most of that now. Or I don't get to spend it, is the thing. So if you're spending $800 to move 2 pieces of machinery, that's a load of logs right there. So if you're only getting 1 load of logs, and that whole load of logs is only worth $1,600, and it's going to take you 3 days to cut it down and move it, you're not making any money, are you? So all comes down to cost versus profit. You know, I think the last job I was on was only 2/3 of a load of cedar. Not even that. There's some hardwood in there too that didn't pay anything. So it's really not worth money to do a job like that. But I knew the guy who wanted to do some other excavator work too, so it worked out. But on something like this, you know, I'll do pretty good. If I get over a certain amount of loads, the percentage goes up. You know, because that means less I got to mess with the machines and move them, and less I got to move iron, the more money I'm going to make. So the more money I'm going to make, the more money the homeowner can make. Does that make sense? Or the landowner. And not everybody has a home here. So, you know, 50% is about where I cut it off at. Unless it's real good timber. Then I'll push it up to 60. Anything, you know, you start getting the onesie-twosie loads, then you start talking like 20-30% to the owner after trucking. So, you know, log truck comes out and hauls the wood, it's got to get paid too. You know, if it's not my truck, then the other guy's got to get paid, and that comes off the top. At least around here it does. Log trucks get paid before anybody else, so if the wood ain't worth shit, you ain't getting paid. Does that make sense? So, like I said in the beginning, come out, stomp around, make sure that it's actually worth your time. You know, and there's a lot of shit in here that a lot of guys wouldn't cut. But I know I can make a log out of it, and I can make money at it because I'm My overhead's so low. Anyhow, come a long ways from the $30 Bass case saw and a $300 broke down tractor. It's taken a few years, and it's been an interesting ride. Actually, I think that's Highway 92 right over there. God damn, it is. Well then, now you know where I'm at. Some old growth stumps. Camera probably doesn't show it very well. That's not even a very big one. Anyhow, I've rambled on long enough. We'll go find a saw and start whacking trees down. Excavator will be here in a day or two. I gotta build a road to get down here. That's something else I forgot to mention. See, I gotta build a road here, but that kind of affects the cost too. But I also know that I can build a road pretty quick. We're not the DOT. We're not working for the government here. We're working for ourselves. So we cut a road in that'll last forever in about 6 hours. You know, that ain't very long. You know, if I was charging hourly, it'd be just, 100 to 150 an hour. So $600 to, what is that? $900 to blaze a road through, and then throw some rock on it. Maybe not. There's a quarry a mile away. A couple $100 a load. So you got a road for $2,000, $3,000. If I were charging for that, but I'm not, because it's just part of the job. So it'll cost me $600. So all told, just to start this job, I'm into $1,000, $1,200. So it better be goddamn worth it. Anyhow, we'll talk to y'all later. You have a good day.